Admiral Quan Day stood on the bridge of the UNS Indomitable and watched the stars. His ship floated in orbit around Earth, waiting. The crew was quiet. Everyone knew something big was coming. "Admiral, incoming transmission from the Galactic Council," said Captain Yuna from her station. She was his tactical officer and had served with him for 10 years. Quan trusted her more than anyone. "Put it through," Quan said. The screen showed several alien faces. They looked scared. The tall one in the center was Ambassador Threshen. His insect-like eyes moved nervously. "People of Earth," Threshen began. His voice shook. "The Galactic Council faces a crisis. The Velic Cluster is under attack. 47 civilizations are dying. We call it the Swarm. It consumes everything." Quan leaned forward. "How many ships have you sent?" Threshen looked down. "We cannot fight them. Our species are not built for war. We come from peaceful worlds. The Swarm destroys everything it touches. Entire planets go dark in days." "You want our help," Quan said. "Yes, though it pains us to ask." Lieutenant Huon, the young helmsman, whispered to Yuna. "Why does it pain them?" Yuna whispered back. "Because they're afraid of us." She was right. The galaxy called humans Deathworlders. Earth was a Class Thothrine death world. It had diseases, predators, extreme weather, and 100 ways to kill people every day. Humans evolved to survive all of it. That made other species nervous. The council races came from paradise worlds, soft gravity, gentle weather, no predators. They were fragile compared to humans. They lived longer and were smarter in some ways, but they couldn't handle pain or fear like humans could. "We will help," a voice said. Ambassador Nari appeared on another screen. She represented Earth in the council. "We will send our fleet." "We must warn you," Threshen said. "The Swarm has already destroyed 6 civilizations. Billions are dead. You may not return." Quan smiled. It wasn't a happy smile. "We're from Earth. We're used to things trying to kill us." The transmission ended. Quan turned to his crew. "All hands, prepare for departure. We leave in 6 hours." The bridge came alive with activity. Yuna pulled up star maps. Dr. Sora, the chief scientist, started reviewing data on the Swarm. Lieutenant Hyun began plotting jump coordinates. 12 ships, Yuna said. "That's our entire deep space fleet." "It'll have to be enough," Quan replied. Dr. Sora approached Quan. She was young but brilliant. Her specialty was alien biology. "Admiral, I've been reading the reports. The Swarm uses biological weapons, acid clouds, toxic spores, things that kill most species instantly." "But not us," Quan said. "Our immune systems are stronger. Our bodies can handle more toxins. But we're not invincible." "I know, Doctor, but we're the only ones who can try." 6 hours later, the human fleet gathered in formation. 12 warships. Each one was built to handle Earth's brutal environment. They could pull maneuvers that would crush fragile alien crews. Their armor was thick. Their weapons were designed by a species that knew war, not because humans loved fighting. Because Earth taught them that survival meant being ready for anything. "All ships report ready," Yuna said. "Take us out, Lieutenant Hyun," Quan ordered. The fleet jumped into hyperspace. Behind them, Earth grew smaller. Ahead of them, a war zone waited. On the way to Velic space, Quan gathered his officers in the conference room. Yuna, Dr. Sora, Lieutenant Hyun, and Commander Tai, the Marine Corps leader. Tai was a big man with scars on his face. He looked like he had fought 100 battles. "What do we know about the Swarm?" Quan asked. Dr. Sora brought up images. They showed dark ships, organic-looking and twisted. "They attack in huge numbers. Thousands of ships at once. They don't communicate. They don't negotiate. They just consume." "Weaknesses?" Commander Tai asked. "Unknown. No one has survived close contact long enough to study them." "Then we'll be the first," Tai said with a grin. Yuna pulled up tactical data. The Council fleets tried to fight them 3 times. Each time they were destroyed in minutes. The aliens couldn't handle the stress. Their ships are built for exploration, not combat. "Ours aren't," Quan said. What about their weapons? Energy weapons, mostly. And those biological attacks Dr. Sora mentioned. They also ram enemy ships when they get close. Lieutenant Hyun looked worried. Admiral, 12 ships against thousands. How do we win? Quan stood up. We win by doing what Earth taught us. We adapt. We survive. We don't give up. The young helmsman nodded, looking less afraid. Commander Tay, prepare your Marines for boarding actions, Quan ordered. Tay raised his eyebrows. Boarding? Sir, no one has ever boarded a swarm ship. That's because they're not crazy enough. We are. The fleet traveled for 3 days. During that time, more messages came from the Velik cluster. Each one was worse than the last. Another planet lost. Another billion lives gone. The swarm was moving fast. On the 3rd day, they arrived at the edge of Velik space. What they saw made the crew go silent. Space was filled with debris. Broken ships, dead stations, the remains of civilizations that had tried to run. And in the distance, dark clouds of swarm vessels moved like locusts. My God, Yuna whispered. Incoming transmission from Velik Defense Command, the communications officer said. Admiral Threshin appeared on screen. He looked even more scared than before. Behind him, alien officers ran in panic. Human fleet. Turn back. It's too late. We cannot hold them. We didn't come here to turn back, Quan said calmly. You don't understand. There are millions of them. Your 12 ships cannot... Watch us, Quan interrupted. He cut the transmission and turned to his crew. All ships, battle formation, weapons hot, Marines to drop pods. This is what we came for. The human fleet moved forward, accelerating at speeds that would kill most alien crews. But humans could handle it. Their bodies were built for Earth's crushing gravity. Swarm vessels detected, Yuna called out. Count hundreds. No, thousands. The swarm noticed them. The dark cloud turned toward the human fleet. It looked like a wall of death coming at them. All ships, this is Admiral Quan Day, he broadcast to the fleet. We're a long way from home. The galaxy thinks we're too violent, too dangerous, too savage. Today, we show them why Earth made us this way. Today, we show them what Deathworlders can do. For humanity. For the Velik people. For everyone who can't fight back. The crew cheered. Across all 12 ships, humans prepared for battle. Sir, they're in weapons range, Yuna said. Quan sat in his command chair. His hands were steady. Fire. The human fleet opened fire, and the galaxy would never be the same. The first swarm ships exploded in bright flashes. Human weapons tore through their organic hulls, but for every ship destroyed, 10 more took its place. They're not slowing down, Yuna reported. Her fingers flew across her console. They're using swarm tactics, overwhelming numbers. Evasive pattern Delta, Quan ordered. Keep moving. Don't let them surround us. The UNS, Indomitable, pulled a hard turn that would have crushed a council species crew, but the humans barely noticed. Lieutenant Hyun's hands were steady on the controls. The ship spun and weaved through enemy fire like a dancer. Sir, the Soul reports heavy damage to port side, the communications officer called out. Tell them to fall back to second line. Busan and Daegu move up to cover them. The human ships moved in perfect coordination. They had trained for this. Earth's history was full of wars. Humans knew how to fight together. Commander Tay's voice came through. Admiral, my Marines are ready. Give me a target. Yuna studied her screens. I'm seeing a larger ship. It looks like a command vessel, about 2 kilometers to our starboard. Perfect, Tay said. We're going in. Commander, we don't know what's inside those ships, Dr. Sora warned. Only one way to find out, Doctor. Quan nodded. Do it. Take 20 Marines. Get in, find out what makes them tick, and get out. Yes, sir. Drop pods launched from the Indomitable. 20 small capsules shot through space toward the swarm command ship. Enemy fire tried to hit them, but they were too small and too fast. On the bridge, everyone watched. No one had ever boarded a swarm vessel before. This was history. The pods crashed into the swarm ship's hull and burned through. Commander Tay and his Marines stormed inside. Tay's camera feed showed on the bridge screens. The interior of the swarm ship was dark and wet. Strange organic structures covered the walls. It looked more like the inside of a creature than a spaceship. "It stinks in here," one Marine said. "Stay focused," Tay ordered. "Move toward the center. Look for anything that looks like a control system." They advanced through narrow corridors. Suddenly, swarm creatures appeared. They looked like a mix of different alien species, twisted and wrong. Their eyes were dead. Cybernetic parts were grafted onto their bodies. "Open fire!" The Marines' weapons lit up the corridor. The swarm creatures fell, but more came. "They're not afraid," one Marine said. "They just keep coming." "Because they're not alive anymore," Dr. Sora said from the bridge. She was watching the feed carefully. "Look at those cybernetic implants. They're being controlled." "Controlled by what?" Quan asked. "I don't know. Keep going, Commander. We need more information." Tay and his team fought deeper into the ship. The swarm creatures were strong, but slow. The Marines were trained for close combat. They moved efficiently, covering each other. They reached a large chamber. In the center was a massive structure that pulsed with light. Cables connected it to every part of the ship. "Doctor, are you seeing this?" Tay asked. Dr. Sora leaned forward. "It's a neural network. This ship is being controlled by that central hub. The creatures are just extensions of it." "So if we destroy it," Tay asked, "the ship should go dead. Commander, plant charges and get out." Tay's team set explosives around the hub, but before they could leave, more swarm creatures poured into the chamber, dozens of them. "Go, go, go!" Tay shouted. The Marines ran. Behind them, the creatures followed. They were fast now, desperate to protect their hub. Tay was the last one out. He triggered the charges as his pod launched away from the ship. The swarm command vessel exploded from the inside. The blast was massive. "Commander Tay, report," Quan called. "We're all alive, sir. Heading back now." The crew cheered. But Yuna's face was serious. "Admiral, look at this." On the tactical display, the other swarm ships were changing. Without the command vessel, they seemed confused. They stopped coordinating. "They need command ships to organize," Yuna said. "Without them, they're just mindless." "Then we target every large ship we see," Quan ordered. "All vessels, focus fire on enemy command units." The battle changed. Now the humans had a strategy. They hunted the larger swarm ships. Each time one died, hundreds of smaller ships became confused. But it was still a hard fight. The swarm had so many ships. "Guangzhou is gone," the communications officer reported. Her voice was shaking. They were overwhelmed. Quan felt the loss like a punch. 300 crew on that ship. Good people. But he couldn't stop to mourn. Not yet. "All ships, Titan formation. We protect each other." Hours passed. The battle raged on. The human crews were exhausted. But they didn't quit. That wasn't in their nature. Engineer Jisu's voice came through from the engine room. "Admiral, we're running hot. The reactor can't take much more." "Can you give me one more hour?" Quan asked. "I can give you 2 if you need it, sir." That was the human way. Push past the limits. Do the impossible. Finally, the swarm began to retreat. They had lost too many command ships. The remaining vessels scattered into deep space. "They're running," Lieutenant Hyun said with disbelief. "Damage report," Quan ordered. Yuna read from her console. "We lost the Guangzhou. 4 ships have major damage. 6 are still operational. Casualties? 1,400 dead or wounded." The bridge was quiet. 1,400 people. But they had saved millions of Velic civilians. "Incoming transmission from Admiral Threshin," the communications officer said. The alien appeared on screen. His face showed shock. You won. You actually won." "We hurt them," Quan corrected. "But they'll be back. We need information. Where did they come from?" "We don't know. They appeared 6 months ago and started consuming systems. We tried to fight, but..." Threshin looked ashamed. "But you couldn't," Yuna finished. Our species are not warriors. We don't have the brutality needed for this kind of combat. It's not brutality, Dr. Sora said. It's survival. We learned it on Earth. Your planet must be terrifying, Threshin said. It is, Quan agreed. But it made us strong enough to help you. Commander Tay returned to the bridge. His armor was scorched and dented. Admiral, Dr. Sora was right. Those creatures are enslaved. The swarm is taking living beings and turning them into weapons. Then they're victims too, Quan said. We're not just fighting monsters. We're fighting something that steals people's minds. Can we free them? Dr. Sora asked. I don't know, but we can try. Threshin spoke again. Admiral Quan, we owe you our lives. Our people were evacuating when you arrived. You gave us time. Millions of civilians escaped because of your sacrifice. We didn't do it for thanks, Quan said. We did it because it was right. The Council will want to meet with you. Later. Right now, we need to repair our ships and plan our next move. Do you have any intel on the swarm's main base? Threshin hesitated. There are rumors. Some say there is a central system where all swarm ships gather, but it's deep in former Velic space. No one who went looking ever came back. Send us the coordinates, Quan ordered. You can't be serious. You've already lost one ship and… Send them. Threshin nodded slowly. You humans are either the bravest or the craziest species in the galaxy. Maybe both, Yuna said with a tired smile. The transmission ended. Quan stood and looked at his crew. They were exhausted, bloody, and scared. But they were also determined. Get some rest, he told them. We've got more work to do. As the crew dispersed, Yuna stayed behind. Admiral, we're going after their main base, aren't we? Yes. The Council won't like it. We're supposed to defend, not attack. Quan looked at the stars. Somewhere out there, the swarm was regrouping, planning, preparing to consume more innocent lives. The Council can send us an angry letter, he said. We came here to stop the swarm, and that's what we're going to do. 2 days later, the human fleet was repairing in orbit around a Velic station. Engineer Jisoo worked around the clock to fix the damaged ships. The crew used every spare part they had. The Soul will be ready to fight again in 12 hours, Jisoo reported to Quan. She looked exhausted but determined. The others need more time. You're doing amazing work, Quan told her. Just doing my job, sir. Though I have to say, these ships weren't built for this kind of punishment. Neither were we, Quan said with a slight smile. But here we are. On the bridge, Yuna and Dr. Sora analyzed the data from Commander Tay's boarding mission. They had learned a lot about the swarm's technology. It's disturbing, Dr. Sora said. The neural implants override the victim's mind completely. They're aware but can't control their bodies. Can we reverse it? Yuna asked. Maybe. But we'd need to access the main control system, the one that runs the entire swarm network. You mean the one at their central base? Exactly. Quan entered the room. Doctor, if we destroy this central system, what happens to the enslaved beings? Doctor, Sora considered the question. They might be freed, or they might die. I won't know until I see the system myself. Then we need to get you there. An urgent message came through. It was from Ambassador Nari on the Council Ringworld Sanctuary. She looked worried. Admiral Quan, we need to talk. Privately. Quan moved to his ready room. Yuna and Dr. Sora followed him. The door closed behind them. Nari's face filled the screen. The Council is furious. They say you're being too aggressive, that your tactics are too violent. We won, Quan said simply. I know. But you scared them. Some Council members are calling for your fleet to be recalled. They say humans are too dangerous. Yuna stepped forward. We saved millions of Velic lives. How is that dangerous? Because you did it with weapons and violence. The Council species have lived in peace for thousands of years. They're not used to war. Maybe that's their problem, Quan said. Peace is good, but when someone threatens innocence, sometimes you have to fight. Nari nodded. I agree, but I've discovered something worse. The Council knew about the swarm for over a year before they told anyone. The room went silent. What? Dr. Sora finally said. They detected the swarm when it first appeared, but they were too afraid to act. They hoped it would go away. By the time they sent out the distress call, it was almost too late. Quan felt anger rising in his chest. They let billions die because they were scared? Some council members argued that getting involved would only make things worse. They wanted to evacuate and abandon the region. Cowards, Yuna said quietly. Be careful, Nari warned. There are factions in the council who want humans gone. They're using your aggressive tactics as an excuse. I've heard whispers of a formal recall order. When? Quan asked. Maybe in a few days, maybe sooner. Quan looked at his officers. How long until we reach the swarm's central system? Yuna checked her data. 4 days at maximum speed. But Admiral, if the council recalls us, we'll be gone before the order arrives. That's disobeying a direct command, Dr. Sora pointed out. I know. Nari leaned forward on the screen. Quan, I can't officially support this. If you disobey the council, there will be consequences. They might ban humanity from council space. They might even consider us hostile. Ambassador, millions of people are going to die if we don't stop the swarm now. I can't let that happen because some politicians are scared. Nari was quiet for a moment. Then she smiled sadly. I knew you'd say that. It's why I sent you in the first place. Do what you have to do, Admiral. I'll handle the politics. The transmission ended. She's risking her career for us, Dr. Sora said. She's risking it for what's right, Quan corrected. He called a meeting of all ship captains. Their faces appeared on screens around the conference room. Some looked worried. Others looked angry. The council is going to recall us, Quan told them. Before that happens, we have a chance to end this. I found the coordinates for the swarm's central hub. If we destroy it, we might save the entire region. But if we go, we're disobeying orders, Captain Minho of the Inchin said. He was young but smart. Yes. And when we get back to Earth, there will be consequences. Court-martials, maybe prison. I won't order any of you to come. This has to be your choice. The captains looked at each other. Then Captain Rina of the Daegu spoke. Admiral, my grandmother was from Busan. She always told me that doing the right thing isn't always the legal thing. I'm in. One by one, each captain agreed. They would follow Quan to the swarm's heart. We leave in 10 hours, Quan said. Get your crews ready. While the fleet prepared, scientist Ari worked with Dr. Sora in the lab. Ari was brilliant with technology. Together, they developed a weapon specifically for the neural network. It's a virus, Ari explained. Once it enters the swarm's system, it will spread through the entire network. It should shut down the control implants. Should? Commander Tay asked. He was watching the scientists work. We can't test it until we're there, Dr. Sora admitted, but the theory is sound. How do we deliver it? Tay asked. Someone has to physically connect to the central hub, upload it directly. Another boarding mission, Tay said with a grin. My Marines love those. 10 hours later, the fleet jumped to hyperspace. They left Velik space behind and headed into the unknown. Admiral Threshin sent one final message. Admiral Quan, the Council has issued your recall order. They're sending their own fleet to escort you back. We won't be here, Quan replied. I know. That's why I'm telling you this. Our people are grateful, Admiral. Whatever happens, remember that you saved us. We won't forget. Take care of your people. Threshin. The fleet traveled for 3 days. During that time, more messages arrived from the Council. Angry demands. Threats of consequences. Ambassador Nari's face grew more strained with each transmission. But Quan ignored them all. His focus was on the mission. On the 4th day, they arrived at the Nexus system. What they saw made even the battle-hardened crew gasp. The system had 3 planets, all dead. Their surfaces were covered in swarm structures, and in orbit, millions of ships, maybe tens of millions, more than anyone had imagined. Mother of Mercy, Lieutenant Hyun whispered. In the center of it all was a massive station. It was the size of a small moon. Dark cables connected it to every ship in the system. That's the central hub, Dr. Sora said. It has to be. Yuna ran calculations. Admiral, Even if we destroy every ship, more will come. That station is building new ones constantly. Then we destroy the station, Quan said. Sir, we're 11 ships against millions. The math doesn't work. Quan looked at his crew. Young Lieutenant Hyun at the helm, Yuna at tactical, Dr. Sora at science, Commander Tai standing ready, Engineer Jisoo keeping the ship running. All of them so far from Earth. All of them ready to die for strangers. The math never works for humans, Quan said. We're from a planet that tried to kill us every single day. We learned to fight impossible odds. That's what makes us human. He opened a channel to the fleet. All ships, this is Admiral Quan Day. I won't lie to you. The chances of us surviving this are small, but if we don't try, millions more will die. Maybe billions. The swarm will keep spreading until there's nothing left. We came here to stop that. Today we finish it. For everyone who can't fight, for everyone counting on us, for Earth. Across the fleet, crews cheered. They were scared. They were tired. But they were ready. All ships, full speed ahead, Quan ordered. Let's show the swarm what happens when you threaten the innocent. The 11 human ships accelerated toward the swarm of millions. It should have been suicide. But the humans had something. The swarm didn't. Hope. The swarm detected them instantly. Millions of ships turned toward the small human fleet. It looked like a wall of darkness rushing at them. Evasive maneuvers, Quan ordered. Don't stop moving. The human ships split into 3 groups. They weaved through enemy fire with impossible speed and precision. No other species could pull the acceleration forces they were using, but humans had evolved under Earth's heavy gravity. Lieutenant Hyun's hands flew across his controls. The Indomitable spun and dove like a bird. Enemy fire missed by meters. This is insane, he muttered. Then he smiled. I love it. Fighter squadrons, launch, Quan commanded. From the human ships, small fighters poured out. Leading them was pilot Minho in his fighter Tiger. He was the best pilot in the fleet. All wings, follow me, Minho called. Make them chase us. Draw them away from the capital ships. The fighters screamed through space. They moved so fast that swarm targeting systems couldn't track them. The fighters drew thousands of enemy ships away, giving the larger vessels room to maneuver. It's working, Yuna reported. The swarm is splitting their forces. But there were still too many. For every enemy ship destroyed, 5 more appeared. Ulsan is taking heavy fire, the communications officer reported. Jeju, provide cover, Quan ordered. The ships worked together perfectly. Years of training showed. They covered each other's weak points. They shared targeting data. They moved as one unit. Commander Tai gathered his Marines in the drop bay. 20 elite fighters. They checked their weapons and armor one last time. Listen up, Tai said. We're going into that station. Our job is to reach the central hub and upload Dr. Sora's virus. It's going to be hell in there. Stay together, watch your backs. And remember, we're doing this for every innocent life the swarm has taken. Ura, the Marines responded. Dr. Zykes, Sora and scientist Ari entered the bay. Dr. Sora carried a small device. This contains the virus, she explained. You just need to plug it into any access port near the hub. The virus will do the rest. How long does it take? Tai asked. 30 seconds to upload, then maybe 5 minutes to spread through the entire network. 5 minutes is a long time in combat, one Marine said. I know, that's why I'm coming with you, Dr. Sora said. Everyone stared at her. Tai shook his head. Doctor, with respect, you're not trained for combat. But I understand the technology. If something goes wrong, you'll need me there to fix it. Quan's voice came through their comms. Let her go, Commander. We need that virus to work. Tai sighed. Fine, but you stay in the middle of the formation. Don't be a hero. I'll leave that to you, Dr. Sora said with a nervous smile. The fleet pushed deeper into the system. They were taking heavy damage now. Shields were failing. Armor was melting under enemy fire. Engineer Jisoo worked frantically in the engine room of the Indomitable. I need more power to the shields, she shouted to her team. We're already at maximum, an engineer replied. Then get me beyond maximum. Reroute everything from life support if you have to. Ma'am, that'll give us maybe 20 more minutes. Then make it 21. On the bridge, alarms blared. Admiral, the Jeju is gone, Yuna reported. Her voice was tight with emotion. Direct hit to their reactor. Quan closed his eyes briefly. Another ship, more friends dead. But he couldn't stop. How far to the station? He asked. 200 kilometers, but sir, we're not going to make it. There are too many of them. Quan looked at the tactical display. She was right. They were being overwhelmed. Even human endurance had limits. Then something impossible happened. New ships appeared on sensors, dozens of them, then hundreds. Who is that? Hyun asked. Yuna studied the readings. Her eyes went wide. It's the Council fleet and Admiral Threshen's forces. They came. The alien ships were fragile compared to human vessels. Their weapons were weaker, but there were hundreds of them, and they were attacking the swarm. Threshen's face appeared on screen. He looked terrified but determined. Admiral Quan, we couldn't let you fight alone. The Council ordered us not to help, but some orders are wrong. You came, Quan said, surprised. Your courage shamed us. Your sacrifice inspired us. We may be peaceful species, but we're not cowards. Not anymore. Other alien captains appeared on screen. Representatives from a dozen species. All of them had ignored the Council's orders. We owe you our lives, one captain said. So we came to help you save others, another added. Quan felt emotion tighten his throat. Thank you, all of you. The combined fleet pressed forward. The aliens couldn't fight as hard as humans, but they could distract. They could divide enemy attention. Now's our chance, Quan said. Commander Tay, go. We'll cover you. The drop pods launched. 20 Marines and Dr. Sora shot toward the massive station. Behind them, hundreds of ships fought to keep the swarm busy. The pods crashed through the station's outer shell. The Marines burst out, weapons ready. The station interior was a nightmare. Organic walls pulsed with dark veins. The air was thick and hot, and everywhere, enslaved beings shambled toward them. Don't hesitate, Tay ordered. They're not in control. We're here to free them. They fought through corridor after corridor. Dr. Sora tried not to look at the enslaved beings. They had been people once. Now they were puppets. How much further? Tay asked. Dr. Sora checked her scanner. The central hub should be ahead, through that large door. They blasted the door open and entered a massive chamber. In the center was a structure that defied description. It was part machine, part organism. Cables stretched in every direction, and at its core, a pulsing brain made of technology and flesh. That's it, Dr. Sora whispered. That's what's controlling everything. Then let's kill it, Tay said. But the swarm wasn't going to let them. Hundreds of enslaved beings poured into the chamber. The Marines formed a circle around Dr. Sora. Go, Tay shouted. Upload the virus, we'll hold them. Dr. Sora ran to the central hub. Her hands shook as she searched for an access port. There. She plugged in the device. Uploading, she called out. 30 seconds. The Marines fought desperately. They had trained for this their whole lives. But there were so many enemies. 20 seconds. A Marine fell, then another. The circle was shrinking. 10 seconds. Tay took a hit to his shoulder. He kept firing. Come on, come on. 5 seconds. The enslaved beings were almost on top of them. Upload complete. The virus spread through the network like wildfire. The enslaved beings suddenly stopped. Their eyes cleared. They looked around, confused. Throughout the system, every swarm ship went dark. Millions of vessels just stopped. On the indomitable bridge, everyone stared at their screens. They're dead, Yuna said with wonder. All of them. Every swarm ship in the system just shut down. But inside the station, the central hub wasn't accepting death quietly. It began to overload. It's going to explode, Dr. Sora realized. The station is going to explode. We have to go. Now. The Marines ran for their pods. They carried their wounded. The freed beings followed them, confused but moving. Indomitable. We need immediate extraction, Tay called. We're coming, Quan replied. All ships, provide cover for the drop pods. The pods launched just as the station began to tear itself apart. They raced away from the growing explosions. But not everyone made it. Admiral, Yuna said quietly, the explosion radius, it's going to reach us. Quan looked at the tactical display. She was right. The station's destruction would take out every ship in the area, human and alien alike. Sir, if we go to maximum emergency speed, most of the fleet can escape, Lieutenant Yun said. His voice shook. But someone needs to stay, to slow down the blast wave, buy the others time. Everyone on the bridge understood. Someone had to sacrifice themselves. Quan looked at his crew. Young Hyun. Loyal Yuna. Brilliant Sora who was on her way back. Engineer Jisoo who had kept them alive this long. All the men and women who trusted him. All ships, Quan broadcast. Emergency jump to minimum safe distance. That's an order. Admiral, what about you? Captain Rena asked. The Indomitable will handle the blast wave. Now go, save those people. Sir, no, Yuna started. Captain Yuna, Quan interrupted. You're second in command. The fleet is yours now. Get them home. Yuna's eyes filled with tears. But she was a soldier. She understood duty. Yes, sir. It's been an honor. The honor was mine. Lieutenant Hyun, transfer helm control to the other ships. Everyone, abandon ship. Get to the escape pods. Sir, we're not leaving you, Hyun protested. That's an order, Lieutenant. The crew reluctantly moved to the pods, but Quan noticed some weren't leaving. Hyun stayed at his helm. Engineer Jisoo remained in the engine room, and a dozen others stayed at their posts. Why are you still here? Quan asked. Because you need a crew, sir, Hyun said simply. We're from Earth. We don't abandon our captain. Quan felt pride surge through him. Then let's do this together. Full power to forward shields. Angle us toward the blast. We're going to punch through and give everyone time to escape. The massive station exploded. A wave of destruction spread outward, and the UNS Indomitable flew straight into it. 6 months after the Battle of Nexus, Admiral Yuna stood on the bridge of a new ship. It was bigger than the old Indomitable, stronger, better equipped, and it bore a name that meant everything. The UN's Quan Day. All systems ready, Admiral, Lieutenant Hyun reported. He had survived. So had Engineer Jisoo and Dr. Sora and Commander Tae. But their old admiral hadn't made it through the blast wave. The Indomitable had held together just long enough. It absorbed the worst of the explosion and slowed it down. The other ships escaped. 2,000 lives saved because of that one sacrifice. But 16 crew members, including Admiral Quan, died heroes. Yuna walked to the large viewing window. Behind her ship, a fleet assembled. Not just human ships, the fleet now included vessels from 40 different species. After the battle, everything changed. Admiral, Ambassador Nari is calling from Earth, the communications officer said. Nari's face appeared on screen. She looked tired, but happy. Yuna, the ceremony is about to begin. Are you ready? As ready as I'll be. The whole galaxy is watching. This is a big moment. Yuna smiled. I know. We'll make Quan proud. The transmission switched to show the Galactic Council chambers. The massive amphitheater was full. Every council species was present. And at the center podium stood Admiral Threshen. 6 months ago, Threshen began, the galaxy almost ended. The swarm would have consumed us all. We stood paralyzed by fear, unable to act, unable to fight. He paused. Then the humans came. Images appeared on screens throughout the chamber. Battle footage. The human fleet fighting impossible odds. The boarding missions. The final sacrifice. We called them Deathworlders. We feared their strength, their aggression, their capacity for violence. We treated them as dangerous because we didn't understand. Threshen's voice grew stronger. But we were wrong. He gestured to a group of freed beings standing at the side. They were the ones rescued from swarm control. Thousands of them had been saved. Humans don't fight because they love war. They fight because they love survival, because they love protecting those who cannot protect themselves. They come from a world that tried to kill them every day, and it taught them something we had forgotten, that sometimes peace must be defended. The chamber was silent. Admiral Quan Day gave his life so that billions could live. His crew fought when we wouldn't. His fleet saved us when we had given up hope. Threshin looked directly at the camera. Today, the Council formally apologizes to humanity, and we ask for your help. Teach us to be strong. Teach us to defend ourselves. Teach us to be brave. On the bridge of the Quan Day, Yuna wiped her eyes. She wasn't the only one. The ceremony continued. Every council species offered formal thanks. They pledged cooperation with Earth. They opened their borders and their knowledge. But most importantly, they asked humans to train their defense forces. We don't want to become warriors, one alien ambassador said, but we need to learn to defend our homes. You showed us it was possible. Over the next months, human military advisors spread across the galaxy. They trained alien crews. They shared tactics. They taught the philosophy that Earth learned over thousands of years of survival. You don't fight to destroy, Commander Tay told a group of young alien soldiers. You fight to protect. There's a difference. The aliens were not natural fighters. Their bodies were fragile. Their instincts were peaceful. But they learned. Slowly, they learned. Dr. Sora worked with scientist Ari to help the freed beings recover. It was hard. The mental scars from swarm control ran deep. Will they be okay? Ari asked one day. Eventually, Dr. Sora said. It takes time to heal, but they're getting better every day. One of the freed beings approached them. She was from a species called the Velix. Her name was Cora. Dr. Sora, Cora said, I wanted to thank you for giving us back our minds. You don't need to thank me. We just did what was right. That's what makes you different. You risked everything for strangers, for beings you didn't even know. Cora smiled. The galaxy needs more species like yours. Back in council chambers, Ambassador Nari worked on new agreements. The political situation had completely changed. Humans were no longer feared outcasts. They were respected allies. We're forming a new defense organization, Ambassador Nari explained to Yuna during a private call. Mixed species crews, human training but alien perspectives. We're calling it the Galactic Defense Fleet. And they want me to lead it? Yuna asked. You're the obvious choice. You finished what Quan started. I only survived because of him. Then honor his sacrifice by continuing his work. Yuna thought about it. Leading wasn't just about giving orders. It was about inspiring others, about showing them what was possible. Quan had taught her that. I'll do it, she said, but on one condition. Every ship in the new fleet carries the name of someone who died at Nexus. We don't forget the cost. Agreed. Engineer Jaisu oversaw the construction of new ships, human-alien hybrid designs. They combined human durability with alien technology. The result was impressive. These ships are faster than pure human designs, Jisoo explained to a group of visiting engineers. But they can still handle the acceleration that would kill most species. It's the best of both worlds. The alien engineers were amazed. You're sharing all this technology? For free? Knowledge should be shared, Jisoo said. That's how everyone gets stronger. Pilot Minho ran the new fighter training program. He took the best pilots from every species and taught them human combat techniques. You're too careful, he told a talented young alien pilot. Stop thinking about surviving. Think about completing the mission. But if I die? You won't die if you're too busy flying. Trust your instincts. React. Don't overthink. The alien tried again. This time, the maneuver worked. See? Minho grinned. You can do things you didn't think possible. You just have to try. Months turned into a year. The galaxy transformed. Species that had never worked together now served side by side. Former rivals became allies. One day, Admiral Yuna stood before a graduating class of mixed-species officers, humans, Veliks, and a dozen other species, all wearing the uniform of the Galactic Defense Fleet. "You are the first generation," she told them, "the first to truly unite our species. You learned from each other. You trained together. You trust each other." She paused, looking at each young face. "A wise man once told me that we fight not because we love war, but because we love survival." Admiral Quan Day believed that strength should protect, not conquer. That power should defend, not destroy. She smiled. "You are his legacy. You are what he died for." The graduates saluted, human and alien alike. After the ceremony, Dr. Sora found Yuna in her office. "I've been analyzing the swarm data," Dr. Sora said. "I found something interesting." "What?" "The swarm wasn't the first. There are records of similar attacks going back thousands of years. Different forms, but the same basic threat. Something out in deep space that periodically attacks the galaxy." Yuna sat up. "Are you saying there could be more?" "Yes, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not for 100 years. But eventually something else will come. Then we'll be ready." Dr. Sora smiled. "That's what I thought you'd say. I'm putting together a research team. We're going to study the old records, learn about these threats, find weaknesses." "Good. Keep me informed." That evening, Yuna walked through the memorial garden on the Quan Day. 16 trees had been planted, one for each crew member who died on the Indomitable. The largest tree was for Admiral Quan. A plaque at its base read, "He taught us that strength is for protecting, not destroying. He showed us that courage means doing what's right, even when it's hard. He proved that one person can change everything." "I miss him," Lieutenant Hyun said. He had appeared beside Yuna. "Me too, every day. Do you think he'd be proud of what we built?" Yuna looked at the young officer. Then she looked out at the mixed fleet visible through the window, ships from 40 species, working together, training together, ready to defend each other. "Yes," she said, "I think he'd be very proud." A signal came through. A new ship was arriving. It was from Earth, bringing more volunteers to help train the Galactic Defense Fleet. "Admiral, we're getting reports of a distress signal," the communications officer called. "Unknown sector. A colony is under attack by pirates." Yuna and Hyun exchanged glances. Then they smiled. "All ships, battle stations," Yuna ordered, "prepare to jump." The fleet mobilized instantly. Human and alien crews working in perfect coordination. They had learned from the best. As the Quan Day prepared to jump, Yuna looked at Quan's tree one more time. "We're carrying on your work," she whispered. "The galaxy is better because you showed us the way." The fleet jumped into hyperspace. They were going to help strangers. They were going to protect the innocent. They were going to do what Quan taught them. Because that's what Deathworlders did. They survived. They adapted. They protected others. And they never, ever gave up. Far away, on Earth, a new class of recruits entered training. They learned about Admiral Quan Day, about the Battle of Nexus, about the day humanity proved they were more than just survivors. "Why did they do it?" one recruit asked. "Why did they risk everything for alien species?" The instructor smiled. "Because someone needed help, and we were strong enough to give it. That's what makes us human." The recruit nodded, understanding. Above Earth, new ships were being built. The UNS Gwangju and the UNS Jeju. Named for the ships that fell at Nexus. They would carry new crews, new hopes, new dreams. And in the depths of space where the swarm once ruled, freed beings built new homes. They taught their children about the Deathworlders who saved them. About the species from the brutal planet that learned to turn their strength into compassion. The galaxy had changed. Fear had become friendship. Isolation had become cooperation. Weakness had become strength. All because one admiral decided to answer a cry for help. All because humans proved that the greatest strength isn't the power to destroy, but the courage to protect. The story of the Deathworlder fleet spread across the galaxy. It became legend. It became hope. And somewhere, in the memorial garden of the Quan Day, Admiral Kwan's tree grew taller, reaching toward the stars. Because heroes never truly die. They live on in the people they inspire. And the galaxy would never forget the day the Deathworlders came to save them all.